Hi all. All right, I am back with episode 2, playing the French expansion of Railway Empire. Last time I left you off, I was waiting to buy or to expand into the Normandy area, but I didn't have enough money. I now have enough money, so let's look at Normandy. So to pay for it, I had to pay 620,000 francs. I have 632, so let's buy this. All right. So we have the Henschel and Gretel trophy earned. So now I have access to Le Havre and Caen. I already looked. They are both making the pate, so they both need pigs, which we have here, but they also need wheat, which there's no wheat up here. So I'm actually going to need to bring the wheat from down here all the way up. So it's going to be a lot of wheat coming in from that one farm, but that's fine because that farm is actually doing quite well. So my first goal, I guess, is to because I do need to build the inhabitants up as one of my tasks.
The
So we can
railway is
see.
the ideal vehicle to vitalize the
So
economy
I've
and
met
to bring
that
more
task,
wealth.
but now I need to boost the area of
As
Normandy
the
up to
people are noticing that the Republic
82,000
is able to enhance
inhabitants.
daily life, the influence of the monarchists will decline.
So I am going to build train stations. Where's my train? Oh, I am going to need 120,000, which I don't have. So I'm going to build a train station in Caen and then one in Le Havre. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I really am not sure. And then I'm also going to need to bring wood down, and I'm debating, do I want to bring like instead of going through Caen, or do I want to just bring it straight down, connect into this main line, and then split it off one way to Nantes and then one way to Le Mans. Not sure. But in either case, I don't have enough money to do any of those things at the moment, so I'm going to have to wait to now that I've actually built the uh, or I've gained access to Normandy. I actually need to build the stations, which does take more money. So I'm still in that waiting game where I'm just waiting to make money. Now the good thing is my finances are good. I'm making money. It's just at this point it's a time issue. And as you can see, I've met all of the tasks well ahead of the time frame. We're only January 1875, so we're only 1 year into the gameplay, and my next task actually isn't even due. The deadline is 1879, so I've actually got like, in reality, just short of 5 years to achieve that. So the rest is 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. So I've got like 5 years, just shy of 5 years to achieve that. It's going to be totally easy to do. Um, so all of my train lines, and if we look at our train list here, all of our lines are making money. They're all in the positive, some obviously better than others. Some of these down in the couple of hundred, I'm not sure why those are. Oh, um, but the rest of these are actually doing quite well in the thousands. So I'm definitely, and again, if we look at our, look at our quarterly report, we can see where we are making money. We made a little bit less money in Q4. I'm not sure why. I didn't really do much else, unless I'm just not. Looks like I've got less delays, more distance traveled, but I had less passengers, less packages, slightly less freight cars. Now the cities are growing, um, and if you look at the demand list, they've now added olives and olive oil onto the demand. Now I don't have access to either one. I've already looked in the area. Neither one of them um, are available to me. Olives are a natural resource, and they are here. Where did I see olives? Here we go. Olives are right here in Rousseau Manor. However, it's part of a an area that I can't access. So there at the moment there's no olives available anywhere in the two in Normandy or in the region that I was in. So I am going to have to wait until I expand to get access to olives, but we can trade the other things that we do have, such as the wood. So now I've got access to wood, I can get wood, start moving in. And actually cheese, I'm not sure at what point, or I'm sorry, milk. I'm not sure at what point milk is needed. It looks like 56,000 citizens that are going to start needing milk, but it looks like before that they're going to need clothing, um, which actually to make clothing you need wool, but in reality we have to get up to the 40,000 in order to build a factory that makes fabric. So yeah, to make that cloth we need a factory, and we can't build the factory until we get to 40,000 so that I can build the factory, but I can't get there because I don't meet the demand. But actually that'll change once I get wood coming in, so I'm not too worried about that. But at this moment I'm going to go ahead and add in a train station in Kane. Kane? Not really sure how to pronounce that. We'll build it like that. Alright, now in this case, how am I going to connect these lines? Let's see, we'll go like that. Just trying to think how, when I bring in the line, see, there really is nothing to the north of that because that is the English Channel. So I think I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to build it like that. I'm going to take these two into that line, and then the other two I'll take into Le Havre. And then I will run the pig and the milk into the main line between these two cities. I think that's going to be my best bet, and then I will run wood into this side as well as salt up there. I will run to this side of Kane. I'll probably leave one open so that I can reconnect it to Rennes over here. But at this point, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm still debating. In any case, I don't have enough money because I need 177 to make that line happen anyway. So I will, get out of pause mode so it can keep making some money. In the meantime, I'm going to think about expanding this wheat farm because I'm going to have to bring wheat from here up to these two cities. Both of these cities are making pâté, so they need pigs. Actually, it's probably not pâté. I'm not really sure what that is. But it needs pigs and wheat. Some kind of meatloaf. It's like meat covered in bread. Have no idea. We'll call it meatloaf. Alright, so I need 177 to get that. Let's get our maintenance building constructed. So that's good to go. Once I get this connected, then we can start a line between Le Mans and Kane. That will take bread and meatloaf back and forth, as well as passengers and packages, and start making us some more money. Because at this point, every rail line that we're building, it's just we're trying to invest so that we can make more money to build up our business. And as they, each line is sort of, if you think about each train is sort of its own business, so each train should be making money. And if you look at them individually, you can see here, if we look all the way to the right and we look under that column where the money is, you can see it doesn't make a whole lot of money. Its average is like 635 per week. But if you look at the total balance there where it says 27,663 francs, that's basically all the money that it's made in its lifetime. So of all the tours, it's made 27,000. So it's not the best, but it's profitable. So it's more money than not having it. If we were to look at something like this one, the Le Mans to Nantes, the very top one, and we look at its balance, it has a total of 244,000. So this one has actually been very profitable, and it's been making me quite a bit of money over time. So as over time, this is just going to keep making more and more and more and more money, and that's really the goal, is to create as many lines as you can, making a profit, because those profits all add up and allow me to continue to expand. All right, so I'm going to drop in that line. I'm going to put, oh, you know what I did? I kind of, now, the reason is, so sometimes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do this. I'm just going to create, instead of like just 2 in the main, I'm actually going to do 1 out of there. And I'll explain my reasoning in a second. So I still need 177 to complete this line. This way I can kind of keep 2 of these. One of them I can run over to Le Havre. The other 2 can take in the freight goods, the pigs, and the milk. Not the milk at this point, but you know, what I am kind of going off in a lot of different directions. Sometimes I don't always stick to just having one main line that runs through all my towns, especially when they sort of branch out. It doesn't always work when there's branching. Now, if you watch my last series when I did the Thunder Across the Prairie, I basically just had a single line that stretched from Washington, D.C. all the way to San Francisco. And in that case, I just had I just had like the single line that ran through the middle 2 lines for each city, and it created one long line. This case is not going to be the same, because I'm going to go like to Caen, but then from Caen I'm going to go over to Le Havre, and then I'm also probably going to go from Caen over here to Rennes. So I'm going to have like 3 cities coming into Caen, which means that you can't really have a straight line doing that. You sort of have to, it's going to be more of a branched out approach. All right. So at this point, really, it's just a waiting game. It's a bit unfortunate. I don't want to keep you too, just having you sit on here. I am going to build some supply towers. I do have a supply tower here. I'm going to wait, because I'm going to build one between Caen and Le Mans, but I want to wait till I get the second line built in. Now this one, luckily Le Mans does have plenty of bread being produced, so once I get Caen and Le Havre open up, I'm going to start shipping in bread to both of those cities, and that will help to sort of get rid of the bread supply out of Le Mans. Now, if I had more money, which I don't even have any bonds available. If I had enough money, I would probably build a warehouse in Le Mans, bring in wheat into the warehouse, and then from that warehouse I would feed wheat to both of these cities, and then also take bread from the warehouse into both of those cities. However, I don't have the money now, and I'm afraid that if I try to do it that way, it's going to take too much time. So at this point, I will I'll wait on that just a bit. Now, before I expand, I'll go ahead and explain this too. Before I expand over to Le Havre, I'm going to go ahead and build my lines, as well as build my lines to bring wheat up to Caen as well, because they do need wheat. And then also I'm going to bring in wood. So I'm going to start my wood line, and I'm still debating if I want to just bring it straight down, hook it up into this line, and then split between Nantes and Le Mans, and maybe put, a couple of trains into both, or if I just run it over to Caen, have everything run down to Le Mans, and then over to Nantes. that does seem to be a little wasteful to me, so I'm not terribly sure that's the way that I want to go. Um, but I'll continue to think about it. All right, so I've got my second line. Let's build our signals. And at this point, I can go ahead and... Oh, I can't add a train because I don't have enough money. All right, let's see if we can make some money. Should pop up. There we go. Now we're going to go Le Mans up to Caen. Now this one I'm not going to choose freight or passenger or anything. I'll just let it choose. But I am going to kind of keep an eye on it. And if I think that it needs, if I need something very specific, I will change it. Let's wait for this one to get out of the way. Oh, of course it's being serviced. Okay. So yeah, so as I thought, it's basically just taking bread up there. Let's add another train from Caen down to Le Mans. That one is taking passengers and mail. I think I'm going to add another one that's going to be a passenger and mail only from Le Mans up here. And I'm just going to designate it as passenger and mail only. And as far as I know, there may not be that much demand for that, but we'll see. Let's wait for these trains to get out of the way, and then it'll pop it on. Yeah, so as you can see, there's not a whole lot of demand going north, but over time it'll kind of catch up, and it'll take care of that demand out of Caen, because that train was actually pretty full of passengers and mail, so that means there's probably a lot more demand out of Caen down south than there was from Le Mans up north to Caen. Okay, so we have all those lines going. I am going to build a supply tower just because I do like having those, especially if they're on any passenger trains. The freight ones I don't worry about too much. All they do is they slow down the train, but they don't really cause anything else that I can you know, that appears apparent. It looks like they just slow the train down, but it doesn't seem to increase or decrease the amount of breakdowns. So we will do that. All right, so now let's go ahead and expand our station here. Oh, we can't expand it because I don't have don't have enough money, but did you see how much wheat? So it's making a lot of wheat. There's a ton of wheat available to go out. So I can, once I get that built, I can start dumping out tons and tons of wheat out of there, going up to Caen, Le Havre, as well as feeding the other two cities. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to have 4. And then I'm going to have one dedicated line that goes to each city. Now the other 2 that are going far up north, I'm going to dump them both into this main line here. But for now, that's where it's going to go. Now the other thing I am going to do, actually I guess I'll go ahead and expand it now since I've got it. Now what I'm going to do though, I'm actually going to run it out the back. So we're going to come out the back. Just trying to determine what's the best way. Do I want to run it through Le Mans train station? Like run it up here and just dump it in like that? Sometimes that's the best, sometimes it's not. So if I do it like that, let's see if I take out that. So I could run it like that. And then it'll just dump into this line. The problem with that is all of the trains that are going north are going to have to go through this train station, which means it's going to need an empty line in order to traverse through the station to get out the other end. Now, I don't know that it's going to necessarily slow it down that much, especially one of my tasks might be, or one of my goals might be to expand the station relatively early. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take it all the way around to the outside and hook it up to a track over here. So this is the process that I go through. I'm sorry to drag you guys through that, but this is the process I go through. Which is the better path for me to do? That's tough. To be honest, I don't know. I think I am going to run it up to the other side. Which means that I'm going to block off that so I'm going to do it right like that. So it's basically going to have this nice dedicated line, and then it's going to dump on the north side of Le Mans. That way it doesn't interfere with the traffic going through the station at Le Mans. Because I'm going to have 4 trains that are basically going to come out of these 2 lines that are going to go north. 2 are going to go to Caen, and then 2 are then going to go on to Le Havre. So I do want to be a little careful with that, because I don't want to really back up my Le Mans station traffic. So that's the path I'm going to go for now. Now, at some point, I am going to expand the station in Le Mans, but at this point, I think that's how I'm going to run the track. Let's see. That's got plenty of demand, and there's definitely some demand up here in Caen, so they will need that wheat as soon as I can get it hooked up. But again, I need 134,000. I don't have that yet. It'll come quicker than you think. Now we do have this winery down here. We could also think about running some wine up here. To Caen and Le Havre. At some point, once I start making a lot more money, I'll probably build some warehouses. But at this point, the money's too slow, so I don't want to build the warehouses just yet. Although I'm still, like I said, I'm really, if you look at our task list, 1879 until I get the next one to boost Normandy, and that's, I got plenty of time to do that. So I've actually got time to sort of, not really waste, but I mean I've got plenty of time to let that build up. All right, so I've got enough money. I can build that line in there. Let's build our second one. Let's bring it all the way back over here. That's going to go right in like that. Now I need 108,000 to get that. Don't have it, so I just got to wait it out. But we're pretty close. Once I get that one in, I'll go ahead and add a second line here that goes into that. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to add my 2 trains going to Caen, and then I'm going to specifically assign them to track number 3. So track number 3. Because once I get track number 4 connected, I don't want them to end up both on taking up track 3 and track 4 at the same time. So I will make sure that the trains assigned to Caen are assigned to track 3, and then the trains that are assigned to track 4 are going to Le Havre. And different people do it different ways. I know I've done it multiple different ways before. Now, once I get another territory opened up, Like you see Tours is right here, and Tours is like, yeah, we make bread too. We need plenty of wheat. They could definitely use some wheat from here. I'm not going to be like, well, sorry, I've only got 4 lines. You're not getting anything. At that point, I'll probably build a warehouse, and I will just start dumping in tons of wheat. And then from the warehouse, I will kind of feed it out on as needed. So that will be that. Let's see. We're close. 108,000. All right, we got that. Let's build that. Get our signals put in. Okay, so we've got our signals. Now let's get our train. Oh, don't have enough money yet. There we go. That's going to go from this farm up to Kane. And notice here, it doesn't have any of these highlighted. I'm going to highlight 3 so that it only uses 3. And then I'm going to make sure that it's a maximum. It's filled up. I'm going to clone it, so it's going to take 2 trains. I don't have enough money, so I got to wait for the money to to make enough money. There we go. So I've cloned it. I've got 2 trains that are taking wheat now up to Kane, and they're both limited to track 3. And you see these other 2, I didn't need to limit those to a specific track because the way I've connected them, there's only one track that they could use. So it's a little bit easier. But in this case, since I'm going to run this track into this main line, I'm probably going to like loop it around right into there. Because of that, yeah, we've got both of them already. Because of that, I don't want that when the trains come back, I don't want them, you know, messing up. So I like to organize it and make sure that they're in the specific. Now in this case, I'm going to go ahead, well, actually, I'm not going to go ahead and run the line just yet. I'm going to build my wood station, but obviously I cannot build it yet because I don't have enough money. But we're getting there. Our cities are growing. Kane will soon have some wheat coming in, which will make them happy. I've got 2 lines there. I'm going to feed, let's see. I'm going to feed probably the middle line. I'll run into Le Havre, and then for the pigs, I will run on the outside to Kane, and then another one to the outside of Le Havre. So that farm will feed those 2 cities. All right, let's actually, since I'm waiting on that, I'll go ahead and build my second line. It's not going to hurt to go ahead and do it. I'll build it out. I'm going to take it up a little further than I normally would, just in case I want to put some extra trains on there. So I'm going to build it there, there. And this will loop back around. And build that. All right. That way, once we do get that other city built in for Le Havre, it'll have the line available to bring up wheat into Le Havre. Now at this point, you know, even though I've added 4, nothing is using line 4 because all of the trains that are going to Kane I've assigned to track 3. All right, so now we can go back, focus on our wood again. Let's get that going. We can build a small station for now. It's not going to hurt us. We're going to build it right like that, I think. Except I am going to build it like this. All right. Let's construct our maintenance building. Now let's go ahead and figure out what's the line. the nice. We are going to have a tunnel that goes right through here and through there, so that is actually going to be quite all right, got cut off there. So, as I said, this is going to be very costly to go through these two mountains. I'm going to have to build tunnels. So instead of that, I think I am going to go through Kane and just run all of the trains through there. So it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. I'll figure out a way to make it work. But at this point, especially since we don't really have a lot of wood available, we do have this other wood way up here. I'll use it to feed Le Havre, but then these two I will feed into Kane like that, and then it will have to feed Le Mans, and then I will also run an additional wood. Maybe I'll just do one that'll go into Nantes, because they need wood too, but they don't have any. They also need olive oils and clothing and olives and all that other stuff, which of course they're not getting any of that. Alright, how much is this going to be? 98,000 to get there. Alright, so let's wait till we get that. But in the meantime, things are looking good. We've got these two trains. That one's filled up. This one's leaving. What I might consider doing, and I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I might do this. Oh, actually, where was I? Oh, I was up here. All right, so I have the money for that. Let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let me see how I want to do that. You know what? I was actually gonna run. Well, I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over it. Sometimes I don't always put the lines in the right spot, but I don't really feel like messing with, worrying about it too much. So I'll run a double line into that station. Probably run the salt into the outside. I'll leave that third open one in case I want to run it down to Rennes eventually. Because eventually, if I ever get that, I don't know if I can ever get that one opened or not. Maybe it's not part of the plan. But in case I do, I will run it along the coast, which will avoid the tunnels. But for this point, I'll just do it like that. All right. Now, once I do get some additional money, and I don't have any bonds available yet, once I do get additional money, I am going to expand those train stations so that they have 4 lines in each station. That allows the trains to go through them, to get through them a lot easier. Let's see how much. I just got to remember. So I need 71,000. I have 51,000. All right. Let's see what else. And then once I get the wood going, I'm going to get the pig coming into Kane. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and expand up to Le Havre. And then things are looking good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and feed wine, because both of these cities will need wine. So I will feed wine up there. And as a matter of fact, what I might even end up doing is doing some kind of, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Sometimes I'll like run wine up to here, but it's a long distance back just for an empty train, so then I might run a passenger from Caen then to Le Mans, and then maybe run it back to the farm empty. Or maybe I'll even run a passenger from Caen over to Nantes, and then drop off the passengers and mail, and then I'll run it empty from Nantes down to here. That's a lot easier to make happen, but we shall see. All right, let's see. I should have enough to make our second line. Let's get that. All right, so now I can start, at least I can start adding a train line from here to Caen. And at this point, I'm just going to do one car. Well, no. I'll do 2 cars. I always like to have at least 2 running to everything. Now, at some point, I will expand the station, and then I will run additional wood down to Le Mans, and then I'll run additional wood over to Nantes. Now the distance here is relatively short, so those trains will be back really fast. And as you can see, the station isn't empty. It still has 14 wood available, but the train, but the train, you can see, is not filling up. It's only got 2 on there. That's because the demand in Caen is not very high. So in reality, I am going to do this. I am going to change this from Caen to Le Mans. We're going to get rid of Caen. I'm going to change the name to Le Mans. And this is really just for my own benefit, because I don't like it being weird. So we're going to change it, from the chopping to Le Mans. That way, when I see the name, I'll know where it's going. All right. So that way, we now have one train going from Caen to, or from the chopping station. Demaris chopping to Caen, and then one going to Le Mans. I'm not gonna run one down to Nantes. It's such a far distance at this point. I'm gonna wait it out for the time being. All right, and as a matter of fact, this video has probably gone on a bit long, so I'm gonna stop it there. And on the next video, I will continue on connecting our pigs, especially now it has a connection bonus, and then also connect Le Havre. So I will do that on the next video. Till then, au revoir.